When Nancy first asked me to do this, I was hesitant. But I told her what I might be able to talk about, and she said, "Oh, that's great." So here I am. The story of how I came to Prospect goes back close to 30 years ago. So hearing this story will be a lot like listening to an old family story about people, some of whom may no longer be around. Back in 1989, my husband Steve and I were new to Maplewood and had only one child, Jeffrey, who was 1 at the time, and he is about to be 31 now. I was desperate for a babysitter, and in those days you could place an ad in the Help Wanted section of the local news record paper. Someone named Evelyn Adams answered my ad. I don't know if there is anyone left here at Prospect who would remember her. She was born, grew up, and spent nearly her entire life here in Maplewood, and as she often said, is the same age as Queen Elizabeth. At one point, she was a neighbor of Uta and Roy Tellini, who were also longtime Prospect members who have moved away. And Evelyn attended this church. At the time, she answered my ad for a babysitter, thinking she would help some Seton Hall students find work babysitting. But she ended up becoming my good friend and helped me raise my 2 children, and I consider her their 3rd grandmother. Anyway, Evelyn would mention Prospect now and again as a good place, even though she had stopped attending. Then in 1992, I had a difficult pregnancy, and the child did not survive. On Evelyn's advice, I contacted Prospect, and the pastor at the time, George Betts, paid us a call and conducted the graveside service. He said something to me like, "You need to be part of a church community." And I remember it cutting through my grief at the time. I was grieving very deeply, as you can imagine. I remember it cut through my grief and thinking, this is an odd time to be recruiting church members. Well, anyway, a month or 2 later, Doris Coyle stopped by, probably in her capacity as a deacon of Prospect. The Coyles happened to live on our block, but we had not yet met. For those of you who don't know, Doris was a longtime active and devout member of Prospect, mother of Matthew Coyle, who you may know. I don't know if he's here today, but she was Matthew's mother. This visit took place before Matthew was around. I remember sitting at my kitchen table with her, talking about children and family, dreams, hopes, disappointments, and then she started tearing up. And I was taken aback. I thought, oh dear, I managed to make a perfect stranger cry, someone who came to offer support to me. Well, anyway, the next year Matthew showed up at the Coyles' house, and Robbie, my second son, showed up at ours, and the boys spent countless hours together. When Robbie reached preschool age, I did become part of the church community. I have always valued my own spiritual life and wanted to nurture that for both myself and my children. Because of Evelyn and Doris, Prospect was the first local church that I went to, and I never looked back. It's a place that has fostered my spirit. I have always believed that the easiest way to feel comfortable in a new place and to meet new people is to have a job to do. And here at Prospect, there have always been all kinds of really and interesting jobs and opportunities. For me, that has meant serving as a deacon, offering music for services, helping with IHN, and many other small ways. I am thankful that Prospect has been a place for me to keep my spirit alive and growing, and where I've been able to express my faith in many different ways. And I hope it will continue to be that kind of place for many others as well. Thank you.